Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and we are going to be having a luxury truck showdown. We are comparing the GMC Sierra Denali Ultimate to the Ram Limited and finally to the Ford Platinum Plus. All of these trucks have diesels and all of them are over $100,000. Let's find out which one is best. First off, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Provo GMC, the Provo Ram, and the Provo Ford for giving me some time with all three of these trucks. Link to all their websites in the description down below. Let's get into it. This Ford has the high output power stroke that goes through a 10-speed automatic. It's a 6.7 liter turbo diesel V8. It produces a whopping 500 horsepower and then 1,200 pound-feet of torque. Now this Ram has the new high output Cummins, which goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It is a 6.7 liter turbo diesel inline 6. It's actually the smallest amount of cylinders in the group, or the least amount of cylinders rather. Anyways, this produces 430 horsepower and then 1,075 pound-feet of torque. Finally, we've got the Duramax 6.6 liter turbo diesel V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. It produces 470 horsepower and then 975 pound-feet of torque, so the least amount of torque out of the group. Before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So the Ford with the Platinum Plus package has gone for the traditional luxury truck appearance. So the bumpers are body painted. We've got fog lights down there, tow hooks. We got a giant air dam. You got this nice brushed finish on the chrome trim there on the grille. Massive headlights, but lots of chrome. Ram's gone for the sporty thing, so everything's all blacked out with this night edition package. And the new Ram has an interesting headlight design where you've got kind of like a split light. Looks futuristic in a lot of ways, but yeah, you've got fog lights, you've got tow hooks, you've got parking sensors, just like the Ford. Much smaller air dam. The GMC actually has the smallest air dam out of the bunch, but this truck actually looks the most normal in terms of the sizing of the lights and the shape. And then you can see again with the brush finish on the grille, got some blacked out elements. And so the GMC, I'd say, is actually in between the other two. Like the Ford's all out bright, the Ram's blacked out and dark, and this one's kind of in the middle with the looks. And man, that's a lot of truck. And look how fancy the wheels are on the Ford. You've got the chrome, you've got the silver trim, and the Ford has a solid front axle. It does use coil springs though up front, and the Ram also, by the way, solid front axle but coil sprung as well. Anyways, completely blacked out wheel with the Ram. The GMC blacked out in silver, again kind of in between the other two trucks. And then it actually has independent front suspension, so it's the odd man out with that. Now here's your side profile with the GMC, and this one does have the longer bed. And then I do want to mention we got power side steps. We've got a bed side step with the GMC. We also have leaf springs here in the back. You've got off-road shocks with this package and, you know, all-terrain tires. And then you got a little bumper step. Now I can't really show the side profile of the Ram because it's in between the other two, but this one's actually a mega cab. And just like the GMC, it has power side steps. It's got leaf springs here in the rear, and funny enough, notice the fender flares are actually painted on the Ram, whereas on the GMC they are unpainted. And then we've got the Ford power side steps just like the other two trucks. It's got the little bedside step there, and then we've got leaf springs here in the rear. No fender flares, so this is a fender flareless truck. And then we do have a little bumper step in the back. Now this leads us into bed features. So starting with the GMC, you guys can see that we've got bed liner here, we've got a fifth wheel prep, we've got LED lights, you've got the grab handle here, we have an outlet in the bed as well. This also has a tailgate step system. It's the multi-pro, so it'll fold down to be a step, but it means that the tailgate's only power down. The Ram also has a fifth wheel prep. We've got an outlet here, we've got LED lights, so similar bed equipment, but nothing with a tailgate, just a normal tailgate with the Ram. And then finally with the Ford, no bed liner. Typical Ford, right? We've got LED lights here, you've got the little anchor points for the cargo tie downs. We do have an outlet in the bed, which is nice, but Ford. Anyways, we do have a step here in the back as well. And the Ford's the only one that has an auto raise tailgate out of the bunch, but giant platinum logo there on the back. Giant Ram logo with the Ram. You've got the limited badge there. And then Denali. You actually have no Denali Ultimate badge on the outside of the Denali Ultimate. You kind of have to know what you're... Well, I shouldn't say that. There is one on the side of the hood. Never mind, I lied. But other than the one on the side of the hood, you kind of got to know what you're looking at. And, man, it's interesting to see all these together. I've never had these trucks in one place at the same time. Legroom back here is pretty darn solid. Got a little storage pocket. Got some cup holders, heated seats, USBs. Have you guys figured out what truck I'm in yet? That is right, we are in the Denali Ultimate. So really nice trim here, and you got the seat storage, and then look at the door panel as well. So definitely high quality feeling, and you even have a fancy headliner up top too. Would you look at this? Tons of legroom, got a little storage pocket. You can see the wood trim there, heated seats, USB ports, full outlet. Have you figured out the truck yet? That is right. Ram Limited. Interesting, they've got some cloth inserts on these limited seats, but yeah, really nice leather. You see the door panel with the wood trim and the cross stitching, very fancy stuff. And then it actually just has a normal headliner, nothing crazy with that. And of course, this one's going to be the Ford. Interesting enough, you actually sit higher in the Ford than the other two, like the floor and everything's a little bit higher. But storage pocket, heated seats like the other two. And I will say these seats are probably the most comfortable out of the bunch. The Ram's close, but just the padding and everything's a little bit better. And then you got fancy cross stitching and everything with the door panel. And then this one has a fancy headliner just like the GMC. Let's take a look at capacity. So the GMC has 3,655 pounds of payload capacity, 20,000 pounds of towing capacity, and a gross vehicle weight rating of 12,250 pounds. Now the front door panel, fancy just like the back door panel. You got memory seats, we've got all of our window controls, front to automatic. The mirrors extend out. They also power fold in. They have blind spot monitoring. And then you've got the fancy Ultimate seats here. With all the perforated leather trim. They've got massage function. Got another Ultimate badge there. And this is the only truck out of the bunch that has four-wheel drive auto, low and high. The other two don't have auto. You got your light controls, drive mode select built in there too, and then heads-up display controls. Now just a quick overview of the interior. We've got a big digital gauge cluster. We've got a heads-up display. Pretty fancy trim around the steering wheel itself. We also have a column shifter. We've got a 360 camera system, responsive infotainment system, horizontally opposed. Heated and ventilated seat controls. You got your dual zone climate, and then you notice diesel exhaust brake is a physical button. You got hill descent control built into this as well. Trailer brake controls are actually down here, funny enough. And you've got the Ultimate logo here. Phone charging pad. We've got an outlet, USB ports, nice trim. Same thing with the glove box. Camera rear view mirror. You have a traditional sunroof, power sliding rear window, the function, the button right there. Oops, right there. Anyways, and really nice, again, these seats, the Ultimate seats, the trim feels pretty darn fancy. Now the Ram has 3,738 pounds of payload capacity, can tow about 24,000 pounds with this configuration, and gross vehicle weight rating is 12,300 pounds. Now you can see really nice trim all across the door panel. You've got automatic windows for the front too. The mirrors power fold out. They also extend out as well. And on top of that, you can adjust both the top and the lower mirror with power function. You got blind spot monitoring built in. And then here are these seats. Really nice trim all down the center with the leather. Power adjustments on the side. Light controls there. Notice the steering wheel is actually manually adjustable, but you do have power pedal adjustments. Digital gauge cluster in the Ram, and then we've got nice trim all around the steering wheel with a little bit of wood trim at the bottom. Adaptive cruise control just like the GMC. We have leather there on the column mounted shifter, which is a little bit fancier. 360 camera system just like the GMC, but we've got a vertical infotainment system, so a little bit different. And you notice a lot of items are built in, like the diesel exhaust brake, parking sensors, trailer brake controls are all partially built into the screen, but you have some physical control there too. Like I said, two-wheel drive, two-speed transfer case, no four-wheel auto with this. We've got the wireless phone charging pad situation down there. And then center console with the Limited logo. Got nice storage throughout. Definitely the biggest storage space. Passenger screen, so you have less glove box storage with the Limited. We do have a camera rear view mirror. We've got a power sliding rear window, but no sunroof with this truck. 3,996 pounds of payload capacity. 12,000 pounds of gross vehicle weight rating with the Ford. About 24,000 pounds of towing just like the Ram. And again, fancy trim on the door panel. Front 2 windows, automatic. The mirrors power fold in. They also extend out. Memory seats. And then you can see blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. This has the full recline seats, so you can kind of turn the seat into like a bed almost, which is kind of nifty. Power adjustments there on the side. Got our light controls there. Steering wheel's power adjustable. Pedals power adjustable too. Just like the other two, digital gauge cluster here in the center. Heads-up display with the Ford. Get a nice trim all around the steering wheel here. Platinum logo. 360 camera with horizontal infotainment system, similar to the GMC. Got your trailer backup, trailer brake controls, and again, two-wheel drive, two-speed transfer case with a rear locking differential that's selectable, which is cool. We've got heated and ventilated seats. You've got your climate controls, and this also has massage seats. Unlike the GM, you have to go into the screen, go over to seats, and then you can turn it on. So you've got to dive into some menus rather than just clicking a button. Got lots of storage here, also there, and on the side. And this is interesting. This is kind of new for the Ford center console. But yeah, good storage there inside. Nice trim on the glove box as well as the dash. This is the only one that doesn't have a camera rear view mirror, just a regular rear view mirror, but you do have auxiliary switches up top, power sliding window like the other two, and then we've got a panoramic sunroof in the Ford. And now let's go over the pricing. And by the way, if you are standing up, I recommend you sit down. If you have a heart condition, you probably should turn off the video at this point. So, the GMC stickers for $100,000, the Ram stickers for $102,000, and the Ford stickers for $103,000. So we literally have over $300,000 worth of diesel truck right here. Let's see which one performs the best. Well, we will start off in the Platinum Plus first. And one thing I will say is this little extension part of the seat that comes with the full recline seats in the Ford, absolutely hate it. Absolutely hate it. I understand the benefit, but absolutely, like, just when you're sitting upright, it feels awkward. Kind of like pushes you forward a little bit. Other than that, though, the seats are really comfortable. Seats are really comfortable. Now, Ford has worked some magic wizardry with the Super Duty. This has solid axles front and rear, and it drives car-like. It's really crazy. Like, it's still a big truck, so like you over bumps and everything, you feel it, but just with how easy this is to steer and how comfortable it is over the bumps, considering the fact that this is a heavy-duty truck with leaf springs in the back and solid axles front and rear, it is quite impressive. Now, this engine's not only smooth, but it is a power behemoth. It has more power than you know what to do with. Truly. It is very impressive. And it's just, the powertrain's super smooth with the transmission. There's no lag ever. It just always has torque. And I mean, you'd hope so. 1,200 pound-feet on the paper, right? I mean, look at this, folks. It's struggling for traction. It is just a rocket ship of a truck. Truly an engineering marvel when it comes to power. But the thing that, again, the thing that I like about the Ford the most is just how smooth everything is. It's really easy to steer. Again, the steering's very light. For a diesel truck, it's pretty darn direct. And it's comfortable. When you go over the bumps, I feel it, but it feels nice and controlled. The truck doesn't feel like it's bouncing all over the place. It just stays nice and planted. And I think, yeah, definitely having a big V8 helps out with smoothing things out. And the transmission tuning is just great. This diesel's really hard to beat when it comes to performance. So smooth. So I really do think that Ford did a fantastic job with their Power Stroke. And this Platinum Plus, this replaces the Limited, right? Doesn't have the Limited name, but it has the Limited interior. And this one's pretty neutral with the colors. It's kind of like this like grayish brown. I think it's pretty good looking overall. It's definitely a nice place to be, if you ask me. They definitely did a good job. And you can see over that bump, like, that's where you feel the HD truck is when you go over bigger. The fact that it's an HD truck is when you go over bigger compression. I like how they did leather on stitching in the grab handle. That's cool. But yeah, this is a nice place to be. And so if you want to go all out with luxury in a Ford, this is the way to go. And in the Mount McKinley Ultimate, right? I had to make the joke, guys. I had to make the joke. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, it's actually a Denali Ultimate. But I wonder if they'll eventually. I don't think they will, because Mount McKinley Ultimate, Denali Ultimate. Denali Ultimate just kind of sounds cooler. But let's see how this performs. Right off the bat, going from the Ford into this actually feels more truck-like in a way. It's not bad. The Ford's just so well tuned with the steering, and this has independent front suspension, so it's gonna be more direct for a truck, but I think the Ford the turn-in's just a little bit better. But also, something to note, this does have a long bed, so not a perfect comparison, but like, this is the first time I've even been able to get all 3 fully loaded trucks in one place at one time, so I'll take it. I'll take it. Now you can feel the torque difference between this and the Ford right off the bat. Like, it's not just oh, on paper the Ford produces more. You feel it from the seat of your pants. You feel the extra torque. It's over 200 pound-feet more, and it does make a difference. The Ford is like low-end seamless. It's still amazing for a diesel powertrain, but you definitely have to dive into the throttle a bit more to really get full use. I mean, that's still crazy. That's still more than quick. But yeah, that Ford is so fast. That Ford has so much power that it actually makes this feel like slower, like quite a bit slower. It is a noticeable difference. The seats are not as comfortable in this. I like the interior more in this than the Ford. Ford still kind of feels cheap with their interiors. That's the one big downside about Fords, is they just feel kind of cheap and plasticky. This feels like a more well-built vehicle overall. But yeah, the Ford kind of on road at least kind of drives a little bit better, and the Ford's a little bit more capable, right, with the towing and everything. So there's definitely a lot to love from that perspective. And I do like the column shifter actuation in both of them's pretty darn good. So let's pop into the Ram. Ooh, if we were just doing like a sound competition, the Ram's winning. Don't get me wrong, I love those V8 diesels, but you can't beat the Cummins with sound. It is just perfection, absolute perfection. Just how a diesel should be, just the chug 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 chug. Oh, it's so beautiful, truly beautiful. But let us, definitely feels the most truck-like out of the bunch. The steering's pretty good, but yeah, it's not quite as luxe in terms of how it maneuvers and everything. Yeah, this feels like a more rugged vehicle in general. Like, you know, if these trucks were all men, the Ram's the guy with the hair on his chest. Just put that's a weird way to put it, but you know what? We'll just leave it be. Now this one definitely is the least smooth with the engine transmission combo, but it also has so much character that you kind of love it for not being smooth. Because again, it's an experience. Like, it feels like you're the other two feel like you're driving this like super torquey modern engine. This feels like you're driving a diesel, and so I forgive it for not being the smoothest, because I get to experience actually experience like what it feels like to be in a diesel. So it's just different. But when it comes to torque, it's good, and the transmission's very smooth. And a big benefit of this new 8-speed compared to Ram's old 6-speed, fuel economy is going to be better. Towing's going to be a little bit better. Everything's going to perform a bit better. And I mean, the fact that this tows about the same as the 6-speed and has a higher axle ratio, right? It's a 3.42 versus a 3.73 in the old truck. That's pretty cool. So you can get better fuel economy and still tow the same amount. That's impressive. So the Ram feels like a real truck. It's cool. Man, which one do we pick in terms of the winner out of this bunch? GMC is obviously the best value, features per dollar. Ford's only $1,000 more than the Ram and has about the same amount of features as the GMC, but it doesn't have a bed liner. So GMC is definitely the best value. That doesn't have a rear view camera mirror. So yeah, GMC definitely wins value-wise. The Ram has a lot of the features the GMC has. Doesn't have massaging seats though. That's the only thing this doesn't have. But the seats are definitely more comfortable than the GMC's. So I kind of like how that performs most on road, with how that drives in the power and everything. I like the features that has I like the engine in this the most in terms of the sound. And then the interior in the Ram still feels kind of like the highest quality out of the bunch. So they kind of all win in different ways. It's just going to depend on what you value the most in a pickup truck. Let me know which one you'd go for. If you win the lottery, which $100,000 diesel are you going to buy?